Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Harakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same and teaching the same. All right. The title of this lesson will be Esau is using the sleight of hand. All right. Tactics, and at the same time he's beginning to come down with great wrath. Okay, so the title is going to be basically that sums it up. Okay, and we're going to go to Romans 13 and 1. This Romans chapter 13 and 1. It says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah." So the Lord is allowed Esau, the so-called white man, to come into power. All right, and in the Renaissance period, which means rebirth, they was actually able to gain back control and rule over the earth. Okay, and of course they got all this they got all this power from what? Deception, being a snake. All right, and of course rape, rob, and murder, just using violence to have their way. So this is the track history of Esau, the so-called white man. All right. If you check his track record, you're going to see nothing but violence, rape, rob, and murder, and theft. Okay? That's how the so-called white man, who is Esau, the Idumeans, according to the Bible, that's how they got all this power. All right? Which it was ordained by Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, for them to come into power. But guess what? The Lord is about to bring them down. Okay? Babylon the Great, America with this great that sitteth on this scarlet red dragon, okay, which makes up the NATO and the EU. The Lord is about to bring all these nations down. Okay? Excuse me. The Lord is about to bring all these nations down. So let's go to Isaiah. This is Isaiah 34 and 1. Isaiah 34 and 1. "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it." Okay, which you got the prophets scattered all over the earth. Okay, and what bringing out these prophecies, letting you know World War III, the Battle of Armageddon, the mother of all wars, is in the Bible, and it will happen. It's prophecy. Okay, and it will go nuclear according to the Bible. All right, World War III will go nuclear. All right, so that's all through the Bible. Okay, so that's how the Lord is going to judge all these nations at once. Okay, and even before that, even before the nuclear missiles are shot off, you're going to have the chariots of the Lord and the angels, the so-called spaceships, the so-called UFOs. They're going to be all over the earth, just destroying infrastructure. They're going to be killing people, zapping people. Okay? Because the Lord and the angels, they're going to bring those lasers, that fire too, that concentrated fire. All right? And the scriptures goes into that. All right? So yeah, the Lord will invade the earth and take over the earth. All right? That's what that war in heaven is talking about. Okay? So verse 2, "For the indignation, righteous anger of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them, he have delivered them to the slaughter." Okay? So yeah, in this draft, all right, in this selective service, that's about to happen in the near future. Okay? You got other countries, they're getting off into that. They're making their citizens, hey, you better prepare for war, stock up, do this, do that. So it's going to come to here. It's going to come to Babylon the Great America. All right, the time coming is where people are going to get drafted against their will. And then if you don't get drafted, you're going to be penalized. More than likely, they're going to put you in a FEMA camp. All right? A FEMA concentration camp. Okay? So, and you're not, this is the last war. All right, World War III. All right, that's that last major war, that third woe in Revelations. Okay? So it's a day like no other. All right? That's why the scriptures say the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Okay? So it says, let me see. Matter of fact, yeah, so the Lord is going to bring them down. Okay? I'm going to jump down. All right? Matter of fact, this gonna lead. I'm gonna read all of it because it's gonna lead into Revelations 13. Yeah, I might as well read all that because I was gonna quote that anyway. So it says, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses." All right, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Yeah, it's gonna. Billions and billions of people are going to be dying. Okay? In World War III, billions of people are going to die. Okay? There will be what they call a nuclear holocaust. All right? Those nuclear missiles wasn't created for no reason. Okay? So it says, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's the mushroom clouds from these missiles, from these ICBM missiles. All right? And it says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Okay? For my sword shall be bathed in for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. I'm talking about the so-called white man. All right, and it's not about skin color. All right, this truth is not about skin color. It's about your DNA. All right, your lineage. All right, the seed, the bloodline, and also the spirit. Okay. So first and foremost, your seed or your lineage got to go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, and then you got to have what the spirit. Okay, because not all Israelites, no matter what color they is, not all Israelites have the spirit. Okay, not all of them can receive this truth. Okay, so it's not just what you got false Hebrews like camps out there too that just teach the 12 tribes are all black. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. The Lord not dealing with them. So if you're watching this, stay away from those guys that's teaching all the 12 tribes are just all black. that black doctrine. Stay away from that. So that's why the scriptures say we try the spirit by the spirit. Okay? So once we trace, your bloodline, that's why when people walk up, we be like, what's your nationality? Okay? What does your father goes back to? Okay? Because your lineage, okay, your race is determined by the man, all right, by your father, all right, by the patriarchs. So like I always have a hard time saying that, okay? And that's all through the Bible, okay? You know, like I say, that's why we always ask a person, what's your nationality? And if they can't really, if they don't know, we ask them, okay, what's your, where, you know, what's your father's nationality, or what area he was from? You know, they'll kind of give you a hint. You know, and sometimes, you know, they say, oh, my dad's he's half Irish, and they say and half Native American. Just giving you an example. All right, and you know, we tell them, okay, more than likely, from what the information you given us, more than likely your father is Israelite. 9 times out of 10, your father is an Israelite. Okay, so it's not about skin color, because you got Israelites, you know, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans that look just like white people, look just like Chinese people, look just like Japanese people, but they got the spirit of an Israelite. You know, you will look at them and you'll swear up and down with the carnal eye that that's a Edomite, so-called white person. The whole time that's an Israelite. Okay, just because they look like another nation, they still got the spirit of an Israelite. Okay, and that goes back to Numbers 1:18. Okay, and that's part of that prophecy was fulfilled about being scattered. All right, us being scattered, and the speckled bird prophecy, us being scattered, and you know, mixing and mingling with the other races, other nations. Okay, that's why you have the wheat and the tares. All right, the tares are other nations that appear on the outside to look like our people, but they're not. You know, you got so-called white, you got so-called white people, okay, with dark skin. All right, because you'll have a so-called white man. You know, his wife would be a so-called black woman. You know, and the child will come out mixed. You know, and people would just assume, you know, that's a brother, that's a so-called nigga. In actuality, you know, his spirit, all right, and his bloodline goes back to Esau. Okay, so that's an example of a tear. All right. Let's see. So it says, verse 6, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Okay? And the Bible is written in what? Parables and dark sayings. Okay? This is speaking of Esau, the so-called white man, all right, in modern day Babylon the Great America. All right? You know, modern day boys will represent modern day America. Okay? So people in the world, they get stuck on words, and they can't get the mysteries of the kingdom. They can't understand prophecy. You know, and to make it worse, they don't even be knowing the history of these places in the Bible. So they'll just out of emotion just disagree with you, just out of emotion. Nah, they'll be like, Isaiah 34 chapter already came to pass. You're lying on the Bible. How you know? You never read the Bible. You hear certain words, and like these people expect for the word literally to say America in the Bible. All right, you're not gonna find the word America in the Bible, okay? But it's there. America is in the Bible. It's known as Babylon the Great America. All right, Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter of Babylon, okay? The great whore, and so on and so on, okay? So let's go to Isaiah, all right? Because like I said, the title is Esau is going to use what? And he's doing it now. Esau is using sleight of hand, and at the same time he's getting ready. Esau is gearing up to come down with great wrath. Okay? So you're watching, this is the beginning, all right? And matter of fact, before I get this one, you're watching the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Okay? I'm in Babylon the Great America. All right? So, bear with me. I'm trying to remember what I want. All right. Yeah, I'm going to just get straight to it. This 18. Bear with me. So this 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, so you're watching the beginning of the collapse of Babylon the Great America. Okay? And see, Esau is simultaneously, while his kingdom is falling, and that brings me to Revelation 12 and 12, because this is what's going on. All right, simultaneously as Esau, the so-called white man, as his kingdom, his rulership, his power and authority over the earth, at the same time he's losing it. Okay, so he's trying to what? He's trying to hurry up and implement his new world order. You know, using the sleight of hand, but that's only going to get him so far. Okay, and the sleight of hand just goes into, you know, deception, trickery. Okay, so there's Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. All right. So Esau, the devil, the so-called white man, he's about to come down with great wrath. All right. And you're watching it happen, you know, starting with this deportation situation. This deportation, all right, it was all a plan. Okay. You notice nobody's talking about COVID-19. Okay, you notice nobody's talking about that. Okay, these are just agendas and pandemics to you know, so they can bring you know, usher in their new laws and legislation. Okay, and to ultimately just usher in, you know, this new world order. All right, which is everything is going to be digital. All right, and Esau want to merge humans with technology. All right, he wants to put the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, all right, inside of you. Okay, in your brain and in your hand. Okay, so that's what they want. All right, they've been planning this out for a long time. All right, for centuries, they've been planning this out. and for a worldly unbeliever, you know, this is too high for them. You know, they're not going to believe it. They're not going to believe that their government is really doing all this. They're not going to believe it. All right, and you heard it first from the elder apostles of Great Millstone. All right, on down to the least of us. Okay. Yes, Esau is about, so-called white man, he's about to force the mark of the beast on you people. Okay? And he's going to do that after society plunges into chaos. After society plunge and fall into chaos, Esau, the so-called white man, he's going to come in like Superman and be like, you know, hey, if you take this chip, you know, you get to come back into this society. You're going to be protected, given provisions, water, food. All right. And, you know, they're going to send you to a designated area. All right. Where you can just get back to normal. Okay, and a good movie will be like The Purge. Okay, a good movie would be like The Purge. All right, you know, order out of chaos. Society plunges into chaos. Then they bring the order. Quote unquote, make America great again. All right. So this Revelation 13 and 14. All right. Revelation 13 and 14 on down. And it says, and deceive of them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Okay. And saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. All right, so this beast is talking about Babylon the Great America. All right, which is the ancient Roman Empire all over again. Okay, this beast is the same beast, the ancient Roman Empire. All right, but it fell and came back. So this is the second leg of the ancient Roman Empire. All right, that's why it says it said. Salakia. It says, which had the wound by a sword and did live. All right. So now we're in the second leg of the ancient Roman Empire. Okay. All right. So it says, they're doing what? They're doing miracles. Okay. They're using their technology. They're using AI. Okay. Little do people know, a lot of sicknesses, even hell, their own quote unquote terrorist attacks, like the 9/11, it's so many documentaries, all right, and people speaking out against that, like, hey, that was that was an inside job, and a lot of people is waking up to the fact that their government is crooked. People are waking up to that fact. And Esau see that. So that goes back to Revelation 12 and 12. All right, Esau see like Esau is losing influence over the masses. All right, his sleight of hand is not working how it used to. So now he just gonna use brute force. All right, this devil, the so-called white man, he's just about to use brute force, all right, to bring about what? His new world order, all right? And everything is going to go digital, all right? So it says, and he had power to give life into the image of the beast, which is his new world order, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. So if you don't get down with the get down, you're gonna lay down. All right. Any person that's speaking against, the new world order and this crooked, wicked government, guess what? They're gonna hunt you down, potentially capture you, put you in these FEMA camps, and more than likely kill you if they can't brainwash you or re-educate you and put the mark of the beast in you. If you still refuse to take the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, and that Neuralink, they just gonna go ahead and kill you. Okay, that's what they're gonna do. All right, and I might, depending on the time, because I actually have more precepts, but I might end it on Revelation 13. But it's gonna bring me. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna end it on Psalms 37. Okay. So it says Revelation 13 and 16. And he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? And the mark of the beast is the RFID chip and that Neuralink. All right? So after the RFID chip is made mandatory, prophecy is going to move very, very, very fast. Okay, extremely fast. All right. All right. Not too long after that, the nuclear missiles will get shot off. All right, and it's going to be a nuclear holocaust, a nuclear war. Okay. So let's go. All right. That's why we don't fear nor trust in Esau's power. We're not trusting this government to protect us and save us and, you know, give us a fair shake, give us 40 acres and a mule. No, we trust in the Lord. The Lord is going to the Lord is going to deliver us from this captivity, okay? And guess what? The Lord is going to give, beginning with his elect, okay? Because only the elect Israelites is going to be saved in the last days, okay? But beginning with the elect, guess what? The Israelites, they're going to inherit and own and have dominion over the entire earth, okay? And they will be given access to what? To different planets, okay? That's what that many mansions is talking about. That's talking about other planets, okay? So, man, all right. And the Israelites are they're blessed, all right. But only the first fruits, the elect, is going to what? Be saved in these last days. 2/3 of our people, they're going to be born in the kingdom of heaven through sex, through being fruitful and multiplying. All right. So that's called reincarnation, which reincarnation is in the Bible. But these people are not spiritual to get that. All right. They're what the world calls third eye is not open. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna get like two more because I know it's probably about 27 minutes. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Okay? So yeah. Yahweh Shem Yahweh, Proverbs 18:10, is the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. So Jacob's trouble, all right, which is going to start when, society collapse, martial law kick in, civil war, chaos, Salakia, forgot what I wanted to say. But yeah, all right, the Lord is going to protect those that have his name, that have 100% truth and know the true name of the Heavenly Father and his Son, okay? All right, so that's going to expose these false prophets they're going to catch hell in Jacob's trouble. These false prophets, you different Israelites out there that's calling on these false names, like, you're going to get a rude awakening in Jacob's trouble. Okay? You're going to be calling on those false idols and ain't shit going to happen. All right? You're going to have a bear jumping out the tree about to fall on you, and you trying to pray to that false name, and the bear just going to land on you and get busy. Okay? And it says, and kill you. All right? It's going to kill you. So let's go. And to prove that, this is what's going to happen to those who the Lord is not protecting. All right? Let's see. Yeah, we just going to get 18 to 19. Yeah, let's just get this. So this Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. that's like that's like a nightmare, you know, a bad dream. You know, for those of you that ever had a nightmare, a bad dream, and it's like, you know, it feels impossible to get away from danger. That's how it's going to be for people who the Lord is not protecting. You know, 2/3 of our people are writing these false prophets. You know, hey, when you fleeing from danger and Jacob's trouble, you're gonna run from one danger to the next. All right, and you just not gonna be able to outrun. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to outrun those death angels. Okay, that's why Hebrews 10:31 is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Okay, you know, so man, you know, you're gonna have some 2/3, you know, they're gonna be just their heart's gonna be filled with anxiety, fear, uneasiness, you know. You know, and the Lord gonna be killing in Jacob's trouble, the Lord is gonna be killing people in different ways. All right. The Lord will have it to where you end up Salakia for the noise now. That's my daughter. But the Lord will have it to where you literally just you escaping near death, and the whole time it was just meant for you to just die to the nuclear missiles. You know? So you've been filled with anxiety and fear the whole time. Torture. That's torture. So the Lord can torture you in different ways. You know? And it's another scripture that says there's no peace to the wicked. Okay? So this Psalms 37, I'm gonna get straight to it. I did want from 32 to 40, but I'm gonna get just straight point. So we're gonna start at 35 and just end it at 36. Okay? I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Who's the wicked? Esau, the so-called white man. He's the wicked on the earth. All right, he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. The Lord created him that way. That's his lot. All right, and there's nothing they can do to change it. Okay, there's nothing. It's nothing. No 2/3 nigga can say to change that. Okay, so it says, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. All right, so the Lord is going to take this devil out of power. Okay, you know, so the Lord told us to what? To wait, sit back and watch the Lord deliver you out of this captivity. Okay. Let me see, check how long I've been going. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I try to keep them short, you know, for the listeners, because I know Jake, you know, they don't really like watching long videos unless it's a prophet that they like watching. Okay, but Lord willing, that was edifying. Want to end it and give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Harakak and double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, who rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same, teaching the same. Shalom.